you doing? This is how we do it. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Welcome to Abundance of Love Self-Healing. I'm Marjorie.
I'm Michelle.
And I'm Elisha.
Welcome to Abundance of Love Table Talk. This is our launch, and we're so happy and grateful that we're here today. We did have gremlins. I don't always say that, but we did have gremlins. And this is why we're sort of 25 minutes late. But we are here, we're alive, and we're kicking. We're going to have a fantastic show for you guys tonight. And we're going to be talking about various different topics. We're just going to give you little snippets of what is to come on the show. It is a table talk, and so we'll be talking about various different topics. And you guys can, send in text and let us know what you feel or what you want us to talk about. We do have an agenda, but it doesn't mean to say that we can't change it up slightly. But, we're just grateful and thankful to be here today. This is a new part of an abundance of love, self-healing. It's the table talk, but there's going to be many, many more different things coming up in the future. And this is just one of them. So just want to say, hey, hi. Hi, everyone.
Hey, everybody.
How you doing? How you doing? Yeah, so we're just going to be touching on a few of the subjects that we're going to be discussing in the next season, which will be in November. This is our launch, and we're just going to be doing 2 shows this week and next week Sunday. And I want you guys to give us some feedback as to what you think about the show or the way forward, because this is the people's show. This is for you guys. Even if it touches one person, it's better than touching no one. And so we're here for a purpose. We're soul sisters, and we're on a journey, and we're going to take you guys on a journey with us. So I want you guys to feel like you're part of the sisterhood as well.
Yeah.
And, rope in with us and interact with us, because this is what this is all about. It's for you guys. So I've said my little bit. I want to pass you on next to one of the other people, one of the other sisters, and I'm going to pass you on to Michelle.
Hey.
And she's going to talk a little bit about herself.
To be honest with you, firstly, thank you for allowing me to be a part of this, because I'm a Gemini who speaks for England, so give me a platform and I'm happy to keep talking, particularly when there are things very close to my heart. One thing I really, and I don't know if there's any other ladies at home that can relate to this, so I am currently 36 years old. I am single. I very much want children. I've always wanted children. I have a condition called endometriosis, which makes it not impossible, but slightly difficult. One of my pet peeves, and you get to a certain point in life, and I think society kind of says when you get past 30 and where's your kids kind of thing. I'll
People do
I'll be
ask that
out and people
question.
say, oh, your sisters are going, when is your turn? And they really don't understand the impact or the cut in the gut when that's said to me.
Yeah.
Obviously I feel like saying, well, if I could, I would, you know. Do we get down to it that I've been trying all my life and I have been unsuccessful? Do you really, you know, I wish people wouldn't be so frivolous with comments like that. There's so many reasons as to why people may not.
But I think people don't know. They just assume.
But this is it. Assuming is dangerous, isn't it?
Very.
Assumption is very dangerous.
Yeah.
It could be a whole array of problems, anything from fertility to illnesses like cancer to maybe they just don't want to. And I don't know if anyone's got a right to question why you do or don't have children. Particularly
But I think it's just a thing that people just do anyway. They just say, oh, when are you going to have your next one? Or when are you going to have one?
But
People
I think
just
something
say
so
it.
personal shouldn't be a chit chat.
This is
It
it.
should be maybe somebody who's close to you might ask that question, and because you're already on a level, they may know what's going on. They probably wouldn't even say it in those words. They'd say, okay, how are things going?
Yeah.
But to just be like, oh, when you're having kids, like, come on, time, you know.
Constantly. Come on, Michelle, you're getting old. How old are you now? What, 35, 36? And you just think to yourself, I'm aware when I was born. I'm also aware that I don't have children. I'm also aware that I've always wanted to have children. And actually this conversation feels triggering for me.
Yeah.
You want to kind of laugh it off. And it's fine to laugh it off 1-2 times until it becomes such a common thing. And I understand what you're saying, that it's just light-hearted, but my point is those kind of conversations shouldn't be light-hearted because
But
there
how
are
do
so
you
many...
handle it? How do you handle it when people... Because I know people come up and say things like that to you. So how do you handle it?
Thus far, traditionally, I'd say by being quite jokingly. I laugh things off. I know, I need to hurry up in it. And, you know, you just try and you hope your best that it's not a conversation that's going to stick and that you can swiftly move away from it. But historically, I'd say we've just been quite light-hearted, even though at the exact same time, I feel like I've been kicked in my gut. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
You just carry on with a smile. Oh, yeah, no, I need to hurry up in it. Oh, what can you really say?
Yeah.
But
I get that. I hear that. You know, as someone that's got children, it's difficult for me to put myself in your shoe, but I can empathize with you. You know?
Yeah.
Because I know it can't be easy. Because I could not imagine that. But it does happen.
Yeah.
And, you know, we need to be sympathetic to people that, you know, it doesn't mean to say you can't have children.
No, of course not.
No, it doesn't mean to say you're not going to have children or whatever, but it's
Absolutely
just
not.
taking you a little bit longer.
Yeah. I mean, I've had members of my family, I'm not going to call anyone out, that have kind of said, well, boy, if you get to sort of 35, 36 and you've got no children, you might as well just allow it.
What?
Ooh. It was coming from said family member that has children. And I just thought, and I remember, it was a few years ago, so I wasn't quite in that remit. But now here I am in that situation. You really have to block out certain noise, you know, when you're focused on what you know is for you. It's so important that you block those, because it can become ever so consuming. Can you imagine hearing that over and over again, that you kind of just think, yeah, maybe they're right. If I wasn't who I wasn't trying to do the work on myself to try and keep my mind in the right direction, I could have easily just been like, yeah, they're right, and just given up. And it is what it is.
And it is such a lonely place to be in, because it's a stigma. Not many people talk about fertility, and I'm Alicia. Similar story myself. However, I do have a child, but I would like more children. So my story is that before my son, I had a stillbirth. I'm very spiritual, so I literally dreamt this child when I was about 15. I knew I was going to have her, but I didn't anticipate that I would not have her for long. So I had a stillbirth, and another show go on a bit more, maybe a bit later on about it. But I was so fortunate enough to have my son not long after. But then to find out years down the line that I had something called Asherman syndrome, which is basically scar tissue in the womb. And it's something that...
Sorry. So how did you get that scar tissue?
So I believe, they're not 100% sure how I got it, but I believe I got the scar tissue because I had cesarean with my son.
Oh.
So when you go through any form of operation, any trauma in your womb area, apparently you sign a 1% chance of having Asherman's. Now, if you're being rushed to have a cesarean, you're not going to be like, oh, let me check. You just want your child to come out safely.
You just want to be safe,
especially the
that
fact
you're
that
alive.
I've had a loss, and myself, because there were times in both pregnancies where my life was at risk. So, so sign this form, not knowing that actually Asherman's is a very real thing. And I weren't even diagnosed with Asherman's until about a good 4 years after having my son. So, and that was me going.
Why did it take 4 years for them to establish that?
Because going back to the doctors, for them, I've always been a big girl. That's no secret. For them, it was always about, oh, your weight. That's why you're not having any periods. Because one of the effects of Asherman's is not to have a period. Or have very light, sporadic periods. In my case, they were non-existent completely. And I'd go doctors and I'd be like, okay, it's 2 years down the line, like, shouldn't I have a period by now? We thought, okay, it's the cesarean, because for some women it takes a bit longer to have a period. Then for them it was, oh, let's go on the pill, let's do this, all medication. No one's looking at the mechanical reason. And it's not until I think I was referred to an endocrinologist who looked at my hormone levels and was like, your hormones are absolutely fine. So he said it's got to be a mechanical reason as to why you don't have periods. Had those examinations done, and then they found out I've got scar tissue. Simple examination done.
It shouldn't have taken 4 years though.
But 4 years,
I know,
to find that out.
But unfortunately, as a black woman, you will find it is very hard to get diagnosed with things. They will prefer to treat your symptoms, but never look at the mechanical reason as to why you do not have periods or whatever it may be. So going back to it, in my case now, it's a case of, okay, when's the next one coming? And that, again, is a comment that, like, I'm a very open person, so I will gladly tell a person, well, actually, I've got issues with my womb. But it's not everybody you can be in passing conversation. You can talk about.
Not everyone deserves an explanation.
Exactly.
Who are you?
No, it just depends on who it is as well. Just asking that question.
And again, it goes back to that whole point of when you do ask these questions to women, just be mindful. Like, you don't. It's not a chit chat type of conversation. I've got many friends and people I know who do have and suffer with fertility problems, and again, it's a very lonely time of your life, because it's not everyone you can speak to. You've got friends and family members who are having babies all the time, and
around
you are absolutely happy for them, but then there's always something within your heart that says, oh my goodness, well, why not me now?
And it's so nice to hear you say that, because I feel like it's a quite taboo thing to say, but it's been the reality of my life for a long time. Whilst I'm incredibly happy for family and friends who have had there's a part of you that's really happy. There's a part of you, it's painful. You say, when is it my turn?
When is it my turn?
And not many people want to talk on that, because it almost feels like I feel guilty that I feel that certain times. You know, I've got younger cousins that I look at them as babies, but they're having babies, and I'm genuinely happy for them. But then there's the other part of me, and it brings me a bit of pain. And I almost punish myself for feeling that. But I feel like they're very natural feelings. And I think the more you start talking to people, there's going to be a lot of people that say, actually, you know what, hands up, I can relate to that. It's just not something that people tend to talk about.
No, it's taboo, isn't it? I mean, people don't talk about stuff like you don't.
And sadly,
unless you talk about with your family, it's okay with your family, but with the outside of your family, people don't talk about it.
And sadly, statistically, black women are more likely to suffer from things like stillbirths, miscarriages, even death in pregnancy as well. So there are so many factors to...
Wow. Never really thought about it like that. My experience I had traumatic experience when I had my first child, which I never really speak about. I'm speaking about it today but it's something that I never really spoke about. I had my son. My son is 39.
Okay.
And I had him at a young age. It, being pregnant and all the rest of it. It was, the pregnancy went okay, but then it was time to have the baby. I didn't know what to expect as a teenager, and I felt that I was treated very, very shabbily. Shabby.
In what sense?
I had a midwife that was, said things to me like, oh, when, I was going through pain, I wasn't told back then about the different pain reliefs.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just gas and air or nothing.
Mm.
They didn't give you nothing else. You didn't have any other option. And I was, crying with pain. And then, a nurse come in and said, well, when you was opening your legs.
I beg your pardon.
Wow.
When you was opening your legs, you didn't know that this was going to happen.
Wow. Wow.
And this is not that long. This is in the 80s.
Wow.
This is in the 80s. And, I was horrified. You're on your own, you're there. And there was no sympathy, no empathy. Having my first baby, I ripped, and then I had my baby, and then they said, oh, we're going to have to cut you. I don't know what that reason was. We're going to have to cut you. So I got cut. And then after being cut, they said, okay, we're going to have to stitch you up.
Mm-hmm.
They gave me nothing to stitch me up.
No anaesthetic, no nothing.
Nothing. They were just stitching with this, just stitching and stitching. I was screaming. Because to me it was actually worse than the labour.
Mm-hmm.
Traumatic.
I was traumatized, and then at the end of it, I was crying so much that there was a consultant that was going to look about somebody else, and actually said, "Why is this woman still crying? Why is this girl crying? She just had her baby. Why is she crying like this?" And when he came and he looked and he said, oh my God. And I was like, what does that mean? What does oh my God mean?
Mm.
But you're just dazed and you're just like, he said, get this, because I had a junior doctor, get this junior doctor out of here now. And apparently what had happened is I was stitched up totally from my bottom all the way up. There was nothing.
What do you mean from your bottom?
From my bottom up, I was totally stitched up. Everything was stitched up. And so, I know I shouldn't even be laughing because I was crying.
It's ridiculous.
Stitched up, totally stitched up. Everything was stitched up.
Okay.
Bottom, vagina, everything, the lips, everything was stitched
Why?
together. I don't know. But anyway, they had to pull everything. He said, no, give this woman an injection and gas and air and this and that. And they had to pull every single stitch out. After about 50, 60 stitches, they lost count.
Oh, no.
So, I
So you would have been a young woman having your first child,
as a teenager,
with
a
no
young girl.
there's nothing to measure it against because this is your first time, and their answer to that was to put an inexperienced doctor in there.
Yeah.
Was anybody allowed in the room with you as well?
No.
Wow.
No.
So you're isolated.
It makes you wonder why.
Isolated. And, you know, I kept crying and kept saying, no, something's wrong. This is not. And it was just stitching away, all the way up.
Oh,
Who was there to supervise it? It just sounds crazy. And like you say, it's not even that long
my
ago.
life in your hands, my child's life in your hands, and you don't know what you're doing. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
To be fair, I truly believe even the reason why I lost my daughter was through negligence.
Yeah.
Because at the time, I think I was about 20 weeks when they realised that my cervix was beginning to open. And at that stage, they could have actually put a stitch in.
A stitch, yeah.
And they said the exact words were, we're not going to put a stitch in because we're just going to see how it goes. So we see how it goes. Me, I've never had a child before. Both me and my husband were like, okay, well, this must be
what you
normal.
do.
Yeah.
And then got to 22 weeks now, and they're like, "Oh, you've caught an infection." Now, obviously, because as my daughter was getting heavier, obviously my cervix is opening more and more.
Yeah.
So at one stage it was literally open, and she's just
God.
there. But I had all waters intact and everything. So, and she's still moving, and everything is okay. And I got to about 23 weeks, about 2 or 3 days before 24 weeks, which is their viable time for saving her. And then they were like, there's nothing we can do, you're just gonna have to give birth. So I was like, well, you know, she's moving. Oh, it's probably not her moving because, you know, well, why wouldn't it be? Because I know
Did they scan you? Did you get a scan?
They scanned me, I think, the day before I gave birth, and she was moving and absolutely fine then.
They're disgusting.
Yeah.
No, they're disgusting.
Yeah.
These are things that could have been prevented.
Yeah.
My question is, why weren't they prevented? And no one's got no answers
they don't
for me.
care. And also, the saddest thing is, they could have referred me to, I think it was Homerton Hospital, who deal with children of 23 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah.
But their thing was, oh, we're not sure she's going to make it. So, and then when they did decide to transfer me there, that was the day that I gave birth, because I literally held her in. I kept saying, because I didn't even get to the antenatal classes of you can push and you can do all of that yet, because it was too early.
To any point,
so I didn't know, but at the stage I could have pushed her out. She was tiny. She came out legs first. She was small.
Yeah.
However, she was still a good size.
Yeah.
You know, and they were like, if we see any signs of life, then we will try. But I just remember them just looking at them, and they just shook their head, and they was like, sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Leash.
I know.
And then that
is crazy.
Is there any sort of counselling or anything that's offered
Did they
immediately?
give you counselling?
So anything that's
okay, so
offered?
what happened after that, I only by the grace of God, literally, and my family helping me get through that time, I started going to the SANS support group. So that SANS stands for Stillbirth and Neonatal Death Charity. And they basically, there was a lovely lady called Julie. It's just basically mothers who have been through it, that we just spoke about what we'd gone through, given advice. And for me, I was so fortunate to have my son not long after that, because I wasn't sure, because as well, I had experienced a bit of fertility problems before I got pregnant with my daughter as well. So I remember even going to the, because I'd been going to and fro to the doctors for years, and when I was pregnant, the doctor, she was so blasé, she was like, oh yeah, your count's going up, you're pregnant. Just like that. And it's just, both me and my husband looked at each other like, oh, okay. But again, that same blasé attitude when they found out I was pregnant with my son, because I went doctors, it had not been long after I'd had
Didn't they accuse you of not being pregnant
Yeah,
initially?
they told me that no, it's a molar pregnancy, because you can't get pregnant so quick after having a stillbirth. So I said, I am a person, as I said, spiritually, I know if I'm pregnant or not. So I was like, I am pregnant, and I know I'm pregnant. I told them what it was. It was a girl, and I knew that I was having a boy for this one too. And the doctor said, no, it's a molar pregnancy. And I remember both me and I was so devastated, because I was just thinking, this man, he's not listening. Went to Tesco's, and then both of me and my husband are in there, and the doctor apparently tried to call my phone, couldn't get me, and he called my husband and was like, just in case, let's just send her for a scan. Just in case, you know. To send me for the scan. I think I was 7 or 8 weeks pregnant at the time. And when I went back to the same doctor, hear him, he said, basically, I don't understand medicine anymore. That's what he said.
Then you need to quit your practice. Thank you and goodbye.
You don't know. You need to quit.
He did not. He said he don't understand medicine anymore. But congratulations.
That's why I don't give my
But
power
he's no
to
longer.
them.
He's
Do
no
not
longer
give
there.
my
They
power
are
to them.
generally practicing. I've always said it. GP stands for generally
Alicia, high five me.
practicing.
Because honestly, them same said people would be the ones that get in my ear and tell me, you're not gonna have them.
right.
I don't listen to them. Nobody knows my body better than me.
That's right.
Better than me. Because they are making educated guesses. But guess what? I'm in a better position to make those educated guesses because it's my body.
It's your body.
I know what's going on.
And one thing I would definitely like to leave with people is take control of your healthcare. Honestly, you cannot go doctors and just be listening and just be like, right, okay, that's what I'm gonna do. You should know your blood test results. Don't just let them say, yeah, your blood test results are fine. No, have records of these
Show
things
me them.
because you want to see any changes yourself because they're going to measure you up against the average Joe Blogs. Joe Blogs isn't me. I need to know what different levels I have at different stages in my life so that I can see if there's any difference or any problems. Because if I'm starting to feel tired all of a sudden and throughout my life I've had this iron level and then all of a sudden my iron level dips, then I know, okay, that's probably why I'm feeling this way.
Yeah. You know, I wanted to ask you, how did your husband, because we always seem to leave the men out in situations and, and they got blood running through their veins, not iron. I know that they have feelings as well. How did your husband, I know you must have spoke with your husband about this. How did he feel?
I mean, I won't 100% talk for him because I believe that's something he should talk for
Yeah,
himself.
but from your perspective.
How I think we tried to deal with it was just talking. Like, it's something, through anything in our relationship, we just try and talk about it. That's the key thing. Men get forgotten. That's definitely.
Men do.
When it comes to loss and fertility issues, unfortunately, it's always the woman. Whether it's the man's problem, it could sometimes be the man.
Yeah, sometimes it is men.
But they tend to get forgotten, and it's hard. You know, they too are longing for a child. They too had aspirations and plans for that child. So it's going to hurt them, and sometimes even more than the woman, because the woman will get all the attention, the support groups and stuff. The man will be just left there, and then when they're seeing their woman crying at night time or whenever it may be, feeling so helpless. So it affects men tremendously.
I don't know how open men would be. I think by nature, women, we kind of create these environments, whether it's with a best friend or you've got family members, but there's usually a safe haven where you can speak like that. I'm not sure that it's instinctive to men to be so open about those type of things.
Some men,
I think they need to be strong, and they need to be the shoulder that you lean on, and so they don't want to show that vulnerability.
And that quite often means that's why they're constantly there for the woman, but at some stage in their life, it will come out. Whether it's through a crisis in their life or some time that they're going through, it will always come out. You know, and hence why it's so important that we do include the men when families are going through this.
I want you guys to send us texts. We haven't got our phone lines are not up and running at the moment. But I want you guys to text in with your views and your experiences as well, so that you can be involved in the show. I know that lots of you have had loads of experiences yourselves, and as I said, this is a show for you guys as well. So I want you guys to text in, and so that we can read out what you've got to say as well. It's not only just about us, it's about you guys as well. Okay. So, what was we saying? Sorry. I just wanted I wanted everyone to be involved.
Yeah, we was just talking about traumatic experiences. Obviously, yours, mine, as well. And unfortunately, there are so many out there.
I always felt that I needed to have some kind of counselling for that.
Yeah.
Because it was very traumatic.
I can imagine. No, I can't imagine. I'm lying. I can't even imagine.
I never thought it would be like that. I was very depressed after.
And in your case, was there any sort of counselling that was offered to
What
you?
kind of counselling?
Well, from when the nurse is telling her you could open up your legs.
I
Could open up your legs and
I could have caught a case on
and
that.
did you not know when you were going to have sex that this was going to... Like, sorry?
Yeah, I've heard so many experiences like that. People who, if they've not been able to breastfeed properly, being told, well, you're going to have to do it when you leave. I in my experience, when I had my son, I had the cesarean, and like I said, I had scar tissue. So obviously there was something wrong anyway, but they couldn't tell that at the time.
Yeah.
But I was told, nope, you need to go and walk around. You need to help yourself change your child. Who's going to help you when you're out? I was like, my husband will, but right now you lot are not letting him in, so I need the assistance. I remember one time.
Why weren't they letting him in? Sorry.
Because at the time in the hospitals they wouldn't, and I must say I am very proud of myself for this. After I did come out, which I remember the day I came out, I was literally bawling. I said to my husband, can you come for me? Like, I don't care now. I'm just going home. This is ridiculous. Because I nearly spent just under a week in hospital after my cesarean.
Okay.
Yeah. And
is that common, for what's the average amount of time that you're...
it depends really, I suppose, on how to be fair, some of them times they want people out the next day.
Oh, right.
Back in my day, because I had cesarean my second child.
Yeah.
And you had to stay in there for 10 days.
Oh, okay.
Right. But no, it wasn't, thankfully. Well, maybe they would have had me there that long, but it was, for me, that it was when I asked the nurse to help me, and she didn't change my son properly, so he leaked out, and I had more work to do, and I just thought, this is it. And imagine, after cesarean, you're on drugs, so you're so out of it as it is, and you're having to deal with a newborn child. It was so traumatic. So what I done was, when I did come out, maybe months down the line, I wrote a letter to the hospital in particular, and they actually wrote back to me to say, due to your letter, we have now changed these things in and put these procedures in place. So they allowed the partner to attend the hospital more often. There was other things that happened. So
because ideally what you want to do is set them up for home life, but husband would be at home with me, so why is he not allowed to help with the, and like, do you get what I mean?
One of their excuses was, well, it's a ward with women, so we need to keep it private. And another thing too, when you're in had a cesarean, you're not in the same position as somebody who's given a normal birth.
You're definitely
so
not.
I don't even want to say normal, because every birth is just...
Because you've got tubes inside, you've got that drain, and you've got
Really?
all these things
Sometimes you've
inside
got
of it.
things like that, but also you need to air it out. The best healing of it. So how you meant to do that in a ward with other people? So I was fortunate, I was given my own room. But again, if you don't know how to talk up for yourself, and you don't basically take care of your own healthcare, you'll just be left.
Yeah. It is, it's sad. It's really sad that, we've had to go through this, and there's not even any support, really.
There's more and more support coming out now than there was. My son's 9, so
even like say 10 years ago. So you can imagine what it was like for me.
Well, I've heard stories when I used to volunteer for the Sons charity. I had stories of women who are now in their, say, 50s, 60s, who didn't even get to meet the child. What? Just told, oh, your child's died, took the child away, never saw that child.
Yeah.
Oh, we live in a cruel world, man.
You don't get to see your child or nothing. Nothing.
Yes.
They just take the child away. Nowadays, they take pictures or whatever of your baby, whatever, and that, or let you see your baby. If you don't want to see the baby, then you can have pictures.
Does your baby have to be over a certain point before they would consider it?
24 weeks.
It is, isn't it? So anything under that, they're not even considered.
That's what happened in my case, because she was a few days off the 24 weeks. That's why they didn't basically want to help her.
So she wasn't given a birth certificate?
No. And that then affects you for maternity leave and stuff like that.
Because you don't get that.
Yeah, because you wouldn't be able to get the full maternity leave as you would, even though you've gone through.
So wait, was your work wanting you back at work ASAP after all of that?
My workplace were good, but some workplaces
You're lucky you've got a relationship with years of them.
Because they want you back. to work ASAP.
Oh, now, mentally, I wouldn't have been prepared though, Marjorie. That's about mentally. How do you go through something like that and then just switch back into everyday life like my daughter never existed or my child never? That's crazy.
They haven't got any empathy. They don't.
Oh, I can't deal with people like that.
They don't empathise. It just depends on your manager. What your manager's like.
I'd be unemployed.
Or sometimes it's not even your manager. It's the company that you work for.
But again, it's having that knowledge, because there are certain, you can be on sick leave for things like this.
Yeah.
It's just knowing, approaching your HRs, and it's not something that you're going to get pregnant and think, oh, let me ask my HR what happens if I lose this child, because nobody wants to think like that.
Well, I wouldn't even want to talk it in like that.
Yeah. But unfortunately, it is something it's important to know, because you just never know. Right.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. So, I don't know if anybody out there, I don't know if anybody been sending in any messages or anything. But I know that there are various different organisations out there that deal with
miscarriage, and different ones for different stages of
endometriosis,
fertility issues as well.
Fertility. Groups. Yeah. And I just, feel that we should ask people to do research, to look it all up. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to try and put some stuff on my page so that if people want further information,
it's just a basis for them to, if they see a bit of info, it gives them something to then go off and look further into.
I'm quite happy to anything I've learned along the way to share
the information.
Likewise.
Yeah, because I strongly believe in people doing research and finding out information for themselves, because you don't want to go off hearsay.
Of course not.
Because a lot of people go off hearsay. But hearsay is sometimes the thing that makes you look into things. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because if you trigger, don't hear it in the first place, you don't know about it.
Yeah.
So I think that it is a good thing for us, hearsay, but also for people to do their research as well.
Absolutely.
I think that we need to talk about, people need to, to do that.
It's life, really. Never stop asking questions. Never stop challenging. And I don't mean be disruptive, but if something don't make sense, it's okay to challenge,
Yes, it is.
And we're all different. All our experiences will be different as well. Things will crop up that nobody else has had before. So, you do have to speak up for yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
It's mad, I heard, and I can't be sure on real, accurate statistics, that with knowing that 90% of women of colour have some form of issue with the reproductive system. So that's not to say 90% of them have got infertility problems, but I'm talking in terms of fibroids, endometriosis, cysts, all of those things. So if that is the case, and I'm not going to lie, if I look at my own family line and go to the females, I can tick pretty much all of us have got at least one of those things.
Yeah.
With that said, why is there not discussion around the fact that things like periods, menstrual cycles, they shouldn't be painful, but why are we not teaching our young children that they shouldn't be painful? Why is it not being spoken about in schools? Because a lot of the time, the body will always give you an indication that something is wrong. Yeah. And pain is usually a sign that something ain't right.
Yeah.
But instead, what do? We try and put the young children on contraceptives. So we try and deal with the symptom, but not the root cause. Yeah. I'm sure they did the same with my sisters. I'm sure they did the same.
They went to put me on the pill. And my mum, God bless her soul.
What did mummy say?
But my mum actually said she's going to look man. I didn't even know what she's talking about. She said, no, my child is not going on no pill. She's going to look man. I was like, what does that mean? What does that mean? That's what she actually said. But God rest her soul, she was thinking the right thing, because she was like, no way is my daughter going to go on the pill at 14. I had really bad periods, and I used to pass out and stuff like that.
And
home,
again,
you know?
it's still showing the connection between them not investigating it. It's always about, oh, let's just treat the symptoms. Let's just treat it.
Yeah.
Investigate. Why is this person having
I
such
almost
painful
feel, and I don't
periods?
want to start making it a race thing, I promise it's not that, but I noticed where I said that I might be there and thereabouts, but 90% of women of colour have these issues. And even something like endometriosis, I was essentially a guinea pig when I had my operation. I was being made to fill out, like questionnaires. It's almost like they haven't done that much research into it. And why would they? Because it's not affecting their people. That's almost how I took it.
Yeah.
Why would we look into it? I know in America they're a little bit more ahead with certain things.
Yeah.
But I was a guinea pig, and it would ask me, how are you feeling 4 months after? Oh, you're still getting the pain from 1 to 10. I thought, I really am a guinea pig. I didn't even realise that I was a guinea pig, but I am. They've just tested on me.
It's true.
Madness.
Because
It's
again, it's not an important subject for them yet in our country, unfortunately. So even things like PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome, it's another thing. Then it's not important. But apparently, I saw something just the other day, I think, on Facebook that said they were going to be bringing a bill to Houses of Parliament about polycystic ovaries. So
Right, okay.
I'm not. I think people have been protesting for so long to say it needs to be researched more.
Yeah.
Because again, like endometriosis, you need to know why or the causes, or at least a good way to treat this. It can't just always be about let's take the pill. We have to
that
know.
literally, as soon as they done the op, their answer to that was right. As soon as you've had the op, which contraceptive do you want to go on? I said I won't be going on any.
Yeah.
As long as I live, I will never take a contraceptive.
And this was
from
how long ago was this?
The op was in 2018.
Okay.
And we are now in 2021,
Yeah.
But since the op, I've changed lifestyle. So how I eat, I can tell you that I have pretty much eradicated all of the symptoms I was getting before.
Really?
But I don't feel it was necessarily due to what they've done. I think
about
it
what
was.
you've done.
Yeah. I do. Like I don't get period pains, but historically, from the age of 13 up until about a year or two ago, I could lose some days in a week. I couldn't move. The pains up my thighs, round my back. I used to say to Mum, I got backache. You're not drinking enough water. It's probably your kidneys. I said, Mum, I'm boxing off all 3-4 litres a day. It's my kidneys. Definitely not my kidneys. And then I found out it was because of endometriosis and growth from the pelvis. So whenever I'm due on, all of that area gets inflamed right down to the top of my thighs. I didn't even understand why my thighs were hurting, and then learned that the nerve ends to your ovaries are at the top of your thighs. Wow. I'd feel like I'd want to put a house on my leg to make the pain stop.
I didn't even hear about that.
Yeah, but they've all gone. I get nothing at the most.
So what did you do? How did you change? What did you change?
I stopped eating meat.
Yeah.
So I don't eat any meat. I don't eat any dairy. I was a bit backwards because when I went to Croatia for a few months, and when I was away, and that was the time when I was thinking, now I've got endometriosis, I'm reading things and I've got all these symptoms, and when I get back to England, I'm going to sort this, I've got this. And I don't know if you remember Tia and Tamara from Sister.
Yes.
One of the sisters, I think it was Tia, also had endometriosis. And I downloaded a book that she had written about endometriosis, but one of her first things was change your diet. Anything you were doing, scrap it and start again. She pretty much, it was difficult because obviously I'd come from being a meat eater, and I think I'd got down to being a vegetarian, but I liked cheese. So the idea of not having no dairy, it's a mental, you have to be mentally ready to do all of it. But she pretty much went gluten-free, dairy-free, and within, I think it took, she's got money, so she would have gone to see a specialist. They helped her. I'd learnt from her book that when you eat those things, the meats and that, they create mucus. And that mucus causes the inflammation, which triggers the pain even more.
The pain.
And I'd notice
Right.
it. I would actually notice it. Eating said things, I'd be in more chronic pain.
Are you guys listening? Are you guys listening? Listen.
Alcohol more. If I'd had like a weekend out with my girls and the following week I was on, I felt like I was being punished, but it was because of what was in my system.
Yeah.
So when I started to eradicate as much as I could, I'm not perfect. I do still smoke. Sorry, I'm going to stop one day. But Rome weren't built in a day, innit? But when we're getting
And do you
there,
drink? Do you drink?
occasional. That's the one thing I will
Okay.
say. I'm not one to just
Yeah.
be at home drinking, but if I'm social, I'm out with
You
my
drink.
girls, definitely.
Yeah.
But never just at home by myself. Or yeah, it's not even a weekly thing. But yeah, once I'd eradicated certain things, the pain element of it went. I just started to take more control. Forget what the doctors say now. I started looking into people like Dr. Sebi. I was like, what? When I
Yeah.
saw that man was impotent for how long and was still producing babies down to his late 70s, 80s, I said,
Was it impotent?
yeah, he was up until his first 30 years of life.
Wow.
Really?
Watch his documentary. Interesting guy. I've got so much respect for him. Learned so much. I'm going to continue to learn more from anybody on the sort of. I just feel like nature leaves clues in it. Like
Yeah.
nature
Yeah.
is medicine.
Yeah.
And I try my best to step so far away from Western medicine. It's not for everybody. And obviously do your research as to what works for you. But for me, thus far, herbs and stuff have been my friend.
Really?
Herbs and vegetables and fruits have been my best
Yeah.
friend. Yeah.
For me, I
Real
find that
time.
a little bit difficult because I have a vitamin K problem.
Right.
So I can't have a lot of green veg because it makes my blood really thick.
Okay.
And then I get clots, blood
Oh
clots.
wow. Okay.
Yeah. So it's, what works for somebody might not work for the next person.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, for me, I couldn't do what you're doing because it would harm me.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. And obviously,
Yeah.
anything that you do, obviously, you don't want to kind of
Yeah.
put their health in jeopardy or anything like that.
No.
That's really interesting to know. But I guess it goes back to what I was saying before. Like, if you're in tune with your very own body,
Yeah.
you will know
You will
what
know.
works for you, and you'll also be able to hear when it's trying to tell you something. So
Yeah.
likewise, you've understood that when I do that, that causes that. You're listening to
Exactly.
your body, and so you will respond accordingly.
Yeah,
You will find
definitely.
your ways around it.
Definitely.
But I don't know, man. That was the best thing I ever did, though, cutting out the meat and that, because when you talk about illness of the body as a whole, at the basis of it, it's just mucus in different parts of the body.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And unfortunately, meats and dairies are at the top of putting mucus in the body. So
Yeah.
my idea was to eliminate that, I'd have to stop eating it. And obviously, as again, Rome weren't built in a day, and everybody's bodies is different. But when people ask me why was you vegan, I stick to the same. It's not even sticking to the same story. It's the truth. I woke up one morning and said I don't want to do this no more.
No more.
And I almost
That's
felt
how I
like
did
it was
when I
just
stopped
like
eating.
I don't know where it
red
came
meats.
from.
Yeah.
Nobody had a convo with me. I just woke up and it was just.
Yeah.
I don't know. Someone's even asked, would it be a memory from a past life or
No,
something? But I
no.
just knew meat weren't for me no more.
And it has
Weren't
to be
for
that
me.
change in your mind. It can't just
Yeah.
be, okay, right, I'm going to do this detox from it. No, because you'll end up going back onto it. It's the
Yeah,
exactly.
conviction in your head that just says, right, that's it now. I'm not doing that. So-
Yeah.
It's just like smoking. For me, I just stopped smoking. I smoked all my life.
How long was you a
And
smoker for?
I started smoking when I was about 14.
Yeah, and when did you start?
And I stopped smoking when I was 50.
Yes! Help me! Help me!
And I loved it. I loved smoking. I would smoke.
This is
Oh,
the
so
problem,
anybody that knows me,
I like it.
I was a silk cup girl. I love silk
Oh,
cup
them light cigarettes, you weren't smoking. Them air, silk cups.
Silk cups.
Like the purple with
The purple one.
What
I loved it. I would smoke every day, morning, noon, and night.
Yeah.
And
What
one
happened?
day-
What made you stop?
One day I just decided that I don't want to smoke no more.
See, it's mindset. It goes back to what she said.
I felt like I'd had
decision.
enough, and I just thought I don't want to smoke no more. And I just stopped smoking. And that was like,
Did you eat more? Because I know my thing is that
yes,
once
I
stop smoking,
did.
I'm
put
going to
on
still want that
loads
hand to
of
mouth
weight.
motion, and then I'm
Loads
just
of
going to be
weight.
eating
Loads.
more, and then and I just no, I'm not ready to. I know I'm not there yet. I'll get there.
No,
but
you
I'm not
have to
there
be
yet.
ready for it. It's not makes sense. You saying that you're going to stop smoking if you're not ready.
I've done that and folded too quickly.
Yeah.
However, sincerely, I don't want to stop smoking upon learning I am pregnant. I would like it to be a way of life before my child comes.
Before.
I don't even want them to have any inkling.
No, but
they will never know that version of mummy.
But even if you're pregnant, even if you find out you're pregnant,
Yeah.
you just automatically want to stop smoking anyway.
No, I know
Just
I
not-
will, but I kind of want to
want
prepare.
some
Do you
time
know,
before.
like when you're manifesting, you kind of have to create the environment as it
Yeah,
is
you
now. You know what
Now.
I mean? So,
But you're not ready.
No, I'm definitely not. But I'm just already thinking, how long we got left? I could do with it. could do with
I think
it
we've
right
got
now.
about 10 minutes left. I think we've
Oh,
got about
that's
8
good.
minutes left to the show.
That's good. That's good.
Because we've been on almost an hour. Can you believe
So when
it?
you quit, you literally just woke up and quit, or did you use any? What do you call them? Them
No,
patches?
no patch, no nothing. I used nothing. I prayed, and I said, God, just help me. That I don't even smell it. If anybody's smoking, I don't even know.
Really?
I had a colleague who he quit. He was smoking for years and years.
Yeah.
And during the lockdown, he quit because it was habit for him to go for a break, have a fag.
Yeah.
Go this, have a fag. And because that routine wasn't there, he just stopped.
Yeah, I never used to smoke at work. When I was at work, I hated the idea of going outside to smoke. I was
Really?
like, no, I'm not going outside to smoke. What am I going outside to smoke for? I hated it. And so I never went outside. So when I came home,
That would
I
be
would
your
smoke
time.
like 10 cigarettes in
Yeah.
a couple of hours.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I would
yeah.
compensate for it.
Yeah.
But then I thought to myself, if I could go a whole
So,
day
yeah.
Well, I'm jealous of that. I can't tell you the last time I've gone a whole day without.
without
I don't
smoking,
think I've done that since I was. No, I was going to say since I was 19. That's when I started smoking. But that's
you
a
started
lie.
smoking at 19.
19.
That was quite old, actually.
It was, you know, and it was so unnecessary because no one around me was smoking. It's like I just wanted to find something to be addicted to.
So what did you do? Just go to the
You
shop
wasn't
and buy a
influenced
pack?
then. You
I'm
wasn't
not gonna lie. I thought I
influenced.
was grown, and I went to the shop and I remember just because like I'm of the age where I can, and I said, "What did I order?" But B&H Gold.
B&H,
And I
yeah.
had a can
Yeah.
of Coke and a cigarette, and I just felt really grown up buying those.
It
two
felt big.
things. But there was no need for me to buy those cigarettes. I don't even think I'd smoked a cigarette before. To be fair, I think for the first few months, I'm pretty sure I was just going.
I just blowing
It was
your
the
mouth.
aesthetics of it. I don't know
Yeah.
when it became and I can't work out. Right, ladies, is there a difference between an addiction and a habit? Because I
Yeah,
would argue,
there
I
is.
don't think I'm addicted, but I do think it's a habit I can't break.
So saying that with my colleague where I said for him it's a habit
Yeah.
because clearly when he was out of that routine he didn't need to do it anymore. But when it's an addiction it's like you need
have to
it.
do it.
You have to do it. You
That
almost
means I was never really addicted then.
You weren't if you were able to do it. That.
I thought I was. I started smoking when I was
I mean, I don't
14.
start spazzing out if I can't have a cigarette. You know, some people,
Yeah.
because I had my
No,
bag.
I never
I'm not
spazzed
like
out.
that.
But I knew that when I finished work, as soon as I got into my car, I'd have to light a cigarette. Have to. That's a must.
I'm very ritualistic, so I know I'm going to have a morning one. I know if I have a meal, I'm going to have one. I know if I have a hot drink, like, I wouldn't dream of having a hot drink without the do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I still don't know if I'm quite addicted. I don't know if I know the real difference between addiction
I
and...
tell you, you can
to
tell.
know if you're addicted, you'd have to stop.
stop.
You lot are playing with me.
Because you see how you're feeling. Are you going to be that one who's like,
No,
right,
you
come
have to
out
stop.
at 4 a.m, walk to a shop to go and get your cigarettes?
You'd have to say, okay, I'm going to do... Remember, you're saying it's a habit. It's not addiction.
I'm
So-
not sure.
Oh, well, this is how you're going to find out. You're going to say, right, tomorrow I'm not going to smoke.
For
Let's
the
see what
whole
happens.
day. The whole day.
The whole day. You're going to say, okay, you give yourself, I'm not going to smoke from 9 till 6.
Got the thought
I
process.
possibly allow me leash. I could do that, but I do have to mentally prepare for that
Or
because
what about 9 till 9?
you're being rude now. Why did we
No,
get longer?
no, that isn't
wait,
rude.
wait.
That's not
How
rude.
did we
That's
get?
not rude. No,
but
you're
that's-
testing. It's a test.
but
It's a
For a first time dipping my big
Alright,
toe
now
in
I'm
the
wondering
pool.
are you addictive? Because you're getting touchy
I
about
don't understand where the extra 3 hours came from. That's all.
I did.
That's me.
Like, it's not. It's like
I'm prepared to go to war on that one. Hang on a minute,
exactly.
Marjorie.
See how aggressive she got towards me. She was like, "Hold on a minute." I was like, "Oh, sorry." It's the person that said it might be a habit. I did.
Maybe I'll do some kind of sponsored thing. If I've got some responsibility on my head, I'm more likely to keep to it. If it's just me, which is such a bad attitude to have, yourself should be the biggest person you never want to let down.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I was like doing it for charity, I know I'd definitely do it. But if it was just for Michelle, I'd be like,
But why would you not do it for Michelle?
Well, this is it. That's
Michelle's
the
more
problem.
important.
Well, this is it. Yeah, just because Michelle likes loopholes, and Michelle will get in Michelle's head and be like,
Yeah.
Michelle, no one's even here, and they don't even know whether you've done it or not. Just have it. It's all right. You know, like the devil and the angel on one side.
I know.
And I'll be like, okay,
We're getting a
just
little
one.
countdown here.
Is it a wrap?
We're getting
Oh,
a little
love you,
fingers
lot.
saying our time is up, almost up. I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. I'm not sure if you got any interaction today, but I want you guys to know that we're going to be on next week discussing something else, other things. This was just a teaser as to the things that we're going to discuss in the future.
Give him a sneak peek,
So,
innit?
just
You
a
gave him a
sneak-
little taste.
Yeah, that's a sneak preview of things, and we got so many. I think, how many things do we have on the list we're going to
Oh,
discuss?
don't.
Probably like about 20.
And the way we can chat us through.
yeah.
I sorry, people at home. I actually forgot about you.
We don't even remember.
But we love you. I'm chatting away, chatting.
But I know you guys are gonna come in every week and just chat with us as well. I know that's what you guys are gonna do. This is what we do. We're soul sisters.
Yes.
And we just bounce off of each other. We know we're on a journey, and we want you to come on a journey with us as well. And we're just going to discuss things, probably some taboo things that people don't talk about.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to talk about it. And we're going to give our opinion, whether it's the right opinion or the wrong opinion. We're going to give our own opinion. And we want you guys to give your opinion
too. Yeah, man. Spice it
yeah,
up.
so don't be shy, don't be a stranger. Join in with us. We're going to be on, we're only on next week, and then because it's a pilot, but we're going to be coming back in November on a every other week basis. But it depends on how it goes. Maybe we might be on every week, but we're just saying every other week for now. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I know I enjoyed it.
I hope you lot enjoyed it, but I had such a lovely time with you ladies, and thank you.
Always
this was
a
fun.
pleasure, indeed.
Yeah, wonderful little get together. I call it the Abundance of Love Table Talk Get Together.
Oh, wow.
We're just getting together, chatting, and just talking about everyday things that relate to us. Us women of colour, somebody needs to talk about it. Mm-hmm. And we're very opinionated. This little
I've got a lot to say.
we've got enough to say. So we just want you lot to join in and like, share, subscribe,
Comment.
comment.
Yes.
Let us know. I said we're gonna. I think from next week we're gonna get the phone lines up and running.
Yo.
So if
Hopefully
anybody
we'll be
wants
on
to
time
ring
as
up,
well.
sorry.
Hopefully we'll be on time with no gremlins as well.
Oh, the gremlins! You lot. I always say it, but the gremlins was out in force today. Every day. every week, not every day, but Wednesdays, Sundays, they're out. But you know what? You can't stop us because we're not going to stop. It doesn't matter if we come on late, we're going to stay on for even longer. That's how it works. So just like to thank you guys so much for joining in. Peace and love. Love you guys. Hugs and kisses all the time. And I just want these girls to sign out and just say a little something, girls. Say something.
People, have a good week. Thank you so much for taking the time out. Hopefully you'll be back next week to join in with some more very interesting conversations.
Yeah, and I hope that we've touched you. We hope that, you found us interesting, that you want to come back for more. And once again, if there are any topics that you want us to discuss, please let us know.
Have a good week,
Take
guys.
care.
Have a good week.
Bye.
Love you guys. Bye. See ya. Bye. Where's the music? Where's the music? Where's the music?